Welcome back, guys. This is Automotive Anonymous, and that is the all-new refreshed front-end lifted fascia on the 2024 Chevy Silverado 3500 HD, and it's the LTZ, so you know it's going to be loaded. Today, I'm going to review it. That means I'm going to do a walk around, go through the specs, initial driving impressions, 0 to 60 with the GPS, of course, and final thoughts to decide, is this diesel or even the 6.6 gas counterpart potentially worth your time and money? There's a lot of cool stuff new for 2024. The future is now, and it even has some upgraded power numbers. And big thanks to the Twin Falls Chevy, where I borrowed it from. If you're interested, check them out. They're a great group of people. Otherwise, we gotta dive right in with this review. It looks better. It sounds better. And it feels even better to drive because the last HD Silverado I reviewed was just a custom. This one is Abalone White Tri-Coat. The lowest of the HDs started at about 45,000. An LTZ like this starts at about 60,000 with the gas engine. And then if you're going ZR2 Bison, because you can now get a ZR2 package on the HD trucks, you're going to be starting at about 85,000. The way this one sits, it's just under 80,000. When we get to the inside, you'll see it's set up nicer than most living rooms, which makes sense because this is about as expensive as the house was in your grandpa's day. The way this crew cab with almost a 7-foot bed sits, it's roughly 20 feet long, 7 feet wide, 6.5 feet tall. The wheelbase is actually about 12 feet, so it takes just over 50 feet to do a full circle. And then HD trucks have just over 10 inches of ground clearance, up to almost 12 depending on their configuration. This one has a final drive ratio of 342, so it favors miles per gallon rather than peak torque to the wheels. But this one makes an extra 65 pounds of torque and 25 more horse than last year's model, meaning you're getting about 470 horse out of that Duramax, or 975 foot-pound-feet of torque. If you don't have the Duramax and you opt for the 6.6 gas engine, you're looking at about 401 horsepower, 464 torque, which is pretty stout itself. I'll show you under the hood soon enough. Also, for 2024 gas and diesel HD trucks, they all get the 10-speed Allison, not to be confused with the 10-speed in the other Silverados. These behemoths weigh 6,200 to 7,000 pounds, which is conveniently very close to their payload capacity. Depending on spec, dually, not dually, you're gonna be able to haul 62 to 7,500 pounds of stuff and people inside of this vehicle. And with the exhaust brake, the trailer brake, the tow package, if you're going gas engine, you can tow up to 17,400 pounds. If you're going diesel, the max towing capacity is 36,000 pounds. So basically, if you go with the dually, you could tow about 5 of these puppies behind itself. You could start your own train on the interstate if you want. All your 2024 3500 HDs, really. But on a more serious note, you have a whole host of active and passive safety features, which I value. I do physical therapy as my day job, so I work with people sometimes who are in bad car accidents, and you don't want to be one of them. This, of course, has turn signals on the mirror, blind spot monitoring, heads-up display, the camera to help with the pedestrian braking, as well as the sensors, and it can slow it down if you're going 50 miles per hour or slower. Also has rear cross-traffic alert and other features like that to help keep you and your family safe. Thankfully, truck owners are oftentimes less likely to be at fault in an accident because you have better visibility and you can see the dimensions of your vehicle more easily where it's more rectangular shaped. This also has really bright LED headlights and fog lights, and when you're going over 25 miles an hour, they can do the auto high and low beam, so it takes a little bit of the work off of you, because don't forget, this still is a work truck. If you guys like this new front end, big trucks with diesels, or my style of review, please consider liking this video. Finally, you have 275 70 18 Michelin tires with an 8-lug wheel that do look really good. Keyless entry, so you can get in and out of the vehicle, leaving the key in your pocket with the lock and unlock right there, or the physical key hidden in the remote if you need that. The door panel looks really nice. You have a lot of two-tone colors in here, wood trim, kind of like a chrome lining underneath. Bose speakers that look fantastic, and then double bottle holders with a full-size door pocket for snacks. Because you pay for the whole thing, you might as well get the whole thing. What I do wish it had was that second storage cubby right there, but that's okay. Other models have that if that's what you need. Nothing really on the door sill other than this aluminized trim piece, Z71 on the all-weather mats. rubberized pedals, OBD 2-port, HUD release, 4x4 modes, lighting options, electronic parking brake, and then really nice heated and cooled or ventilated seats. They are 10-way power adjustment for the driver and the passenger, sunroof up top. Inside the LTZ is a really nice place to be. We're gonna fire it up with the push button start. It roars to life. You can see the lights do their little dance, and the center 12-inch display looks fantastic. On the left of the wheel, you have all your adaptive cruise settings, the heated wheel, which is really nice. Leather wrapped, it feels great. And even the 6 o'clock position is leather wrapped, which is awesome. The armrest is really comfortable, exactly where it should be. And with the 10-way power seats, it's easy to find your spot. On the right of the wheel, we have our voice controls and more settings to go through that center display, music, navigation, phone, other settings, all the things that you want to look at. The horn is a little bit high pitched, but it's loud, so I think it does the job. Otherwise, you have a little bit of storage up here. Really nice big 13.4-inch screen, and check out these cameras. You can even have those on while you're driving, which is just fantastic. It lets you go through the front and the rear of most of the settings, if you can see those all change, the side, the hitch, all that stuff. It's honestly just really cool. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, of course, sounds fantastic with those Bose speakers. More wood trim, all of your options there, a lot of safety features, traction control, hazards in the middle, trailer brake, ventilated, heated back and bum, physical buttons for the HVAC, and then some more plugins right there. This right here is rubber lined. It's about as big as a dinner tray, so if you need to be driving down the road, which is basically like sitting in your living room and eating your dinner, as long as you're doing it legally, I guess you can. Nice big cup holders that do have the slot for the handle, and then wireless charging, really big center console with a lifty tray, and then you have a household style outlet, some more USBs, and lighting right there. So it gives you a lot of options. Up top, you can slide the moonroof, you can tilt the moonroof, and then because it's too far to reach, you can slide the rear window. Also, you have your garage door settings there and all of your on-site settings up there. But let's turn it off. Let's hop in the back and see how we fit behind ourselves. The back door panel follows the same theme, all the same type of materials, very soft touch, very high end. I think they're gonna age well because they are firm and they feel well made. You still get a bottle holder and a lot of snacks. Comment below, what are you putting back there? Otherwise, chrome line, Bose speaker, a little bit of grip right there to step as you grab in that B-pillar bar. Otherwise, these leather seats look really good. You can easily fold the 60/40 split up, get to all your tire changing tools and whatever else you want to hide back there. You can drop the headrest and hidden storage. And some hidden storage in the center of the back opposite end seats where you're gonna hide in there. Otherwise, we're gonna use that B pillar, pull ourselves up. At 5'11", I have more than a hand's worth of room in front of the seat. I can be a backseat driver, I can be chauffeured, let them know where I want to go while I'm enjoying some drinks, heated seats, ventilation, and plugins. And I have a couple more cup holders in the center. Something I do wish Chevy did though was line this in the center of it so that I could still use my arm rest and not lose one of my cup holders. Anyways, I'm not the engineer behind it, so we'll just leave it as it is. LED lighting up top. And you know what? I think it's time to hop around and check out the bed of the truck. These HD trucks really have a nice rear end with the tailgate stamped Chevrolet and the LTZ to remind you that you're driving something fancy. You can either drop the bed with the button, or I'm just gonna use the remote. While that's lowering, check out the backup camera on the third brake light. It does a really good job. And then you have 3 tie downs at each end. They're all rated for 500 pounds, so you can really tie a lot of heavy stuff back here. Otherwise, you have LED lighting on both sides of the rear, and then your household style outlet right there. Time to lift the bed, and we're just gonna let it do all the work. You don't have to work that hard with a modern work truck. The rear passenger door panel looks very identical to the other side. You still get a map pocket, a B pillar handle, and then the 40 lift split with your jack under there. More proximity key features to lock and unlock. And if you're gonna ride shotgun, you're gonna be in a really nice place. Remember, you have heated and ventilated seats, 10-way power options on the seat. Our backpack is held in comfortable, not piping up at all because it doesn't want to have to leave this spot. And then I forgot to mention on the driver's side, you also have a pocket right there. You have the locking glove box, which is adequately sized. I don't see any plugins. And then you have the hidden upper glove box. What are you gonna hide in there? Comment below. It's time to go around though and check out that big 6.6 Duramax Diesel, see what it looks like. So pop the hood. And there it is. Chevy did a good job with the placement of this Duramax engine. There's all of your reservoirs right up top. Oil dipstick, air filter, through some baffling, and then it gets right to the turbo that's in the center of the back. More induction through the hood. Serpentine belt is kind of hidden, but you can just barely see it through there behind this plastic shielding with the fan. And overall, it's just fantastic. It makes a whopping 975 foot-pound-feet of torque and 470 horse, which is a nice little bump from last year's model. Time to drop the hood. And we're gonna teleport inside into one of my favorite roads to take it for a drive and see how it handles the street. Initial driving impressions of this big 24 HD truck is that you feel really high up. You feel like you're looking almost at the roofs of houses. You're looking down on 1500s like that F-150. But you have fantastic visibility. These windows are really big. Those mirrors, meant for towing, do a great job as well. You can really see out of it at every angle, basically. The B, the C pillar, things like that, they really don't obstruct your view very much. And it's comfortable having the heated wheel on, the heated seats, knowing that you have almost 1,000 foot-pounds of torque under your right foot. It's honestly pretty cool. Everything's really comfortable and right where it should be on this truck. The controls are easy to get to, easy to reach. The center console is fantastic, and it's just a nice vehicle. If you have to catch up to traffic, do a little bit of a pull, get around something, it feels really good. That turbo spools, and you can feel it. It's not the fastest thing I've driven by any stretch of the imagination, not even today, but it feels like it can pull anything. It doesn't feel like it's going to be slowed down just with how the power delivery is. The power numbers are really high. It just wants to go. It wants to do its job, which is be a tool, be a workhorse. Not to be confused with that literal horse standing right there, probably on its lunch break because it's just head down eating some grass. The brakes feel like if you had to really push the pedal, they would be very strong, where it has the trailer package and everything. They're linear, there's not like a sharp engagement point or anything. The seats are very comfortable, backpack's having a good time. You can see that they're not very aggressively bolstered. So, you know, whether you weigh 150 pounds or 400 pounds, with how high the roof is of this, how wide the seats are, I think you're gonna get comfortable. I think you're gonna have a pretty good time. It's nice to know you have all the safety features that you do. The heads-up display that light up, just a few lights, are kind of like what my Outback Wilderness has. It's not as advanced as some of the other Silverados I've driven that have more information on the screen, but it's nice to have. Having the little Duramax Diesel hood bulge on the sides of the hood look really cool, and then that chrome lip on the front, you can really kind of basically know where the truck dimensions stop, which I really like. The backup camera, you guys know I like to drive these Silverados with the camera on because they're seriously just so great. Front or rear camera, whatever it is. The display is huge, very clear compared to a lot of other vehicles I've driven, and I just really like it. It does feel heavy, but 12-foot wheelbase, you feel very planted on the road when you're weighing almost 7,000 pounds. We have just a little bit of wind today, as you could hear earlier, but it doesn't really protrude into the cabin. I haven't really heard any rock noise or road noise. These tires do a great job. Yeah, it brakes really well. When you go around a corner quickly, there is a bit of body roll because it's a big truck, but because this is a heavy one and weighs about 1,000 pounds more than a 1500, it feels very planted. Just make sure that anything you don't want to slide around is well placed, because when you turn in a big truck, things slide around. You have to be kind of careful. The Bose speakers sound fantastic in this, especially with how well insulated this is for a truck. And hearing the turbo spool is just fun. For being a stock system, you know, it's not as loud as diesels used to be 20 years ago. You know, if you wanted to do aftermarket intake exhaust, things like that, you can definitely open it up more, but it's just fun to be able to hear a little bit of the spool. What are your thoughts, guys? Have you driven one? Are you gonna consider a 24? Are you going Sierra or Silverado? I'd like to know. Anyways, guys, we're gonna get to our private road and do a 0 to 60. We have traction control off, and we are gonna be in 4 auto, so that the vehicle can do what it does. We're gonna brake rev the Allison transmission, and density altitude today is about 3,400 feet. So even though this is compressed with the turbo, it is still gonna be down on power, probably about 5% because of our air quality. Let's see what it can do. I'll verbalize the true 0 to 60, and then GPS graph after will show without the fit of rollout at the bottom left how it would have been rated on the same run. honestly, that felt pretty fast. That did a true 0 to 60 in 7.03 seconds without the foot of rollout. I'm sure it's in the 6.7 range. Let's get to our final thoughts. Final thoughts of the refreshed mid-generation HD Silverado is honestly, I think it's a really good looking truck. I think it was time for the refresh with how many of these are on the street. You don't want them all looking the exact same. It's extremely capable in the numbers that it produces on paper, and what it feels like driving, the subjective feeling is awesome. It's not the fastest truck I've driven, but it feels like one of the most powerful. Like you could pull a house and barely feel that it's behind you. This is really a cool option. Almost 80 grand though, that's a lot for a truck, and it's a very nice truck. Of course, there's a few trim levels higher than this, but what are you guys gonna buy it for? To daily drive, to put to the construction site, to use, to make money off of it? I think if you're using it as a tool, absolutely. I think if you're just buying it to have an $80,000 daily driver, there's probably gonna be more convenient options. That's almost T-Rex money these days. But what are your thoughts? I wanna know. If you like this video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to help support the channel so that we can do more videos. Otherwise, if you want this one or wanna check out the awesome inventory at this dealer, it's a bunch of great people. I'll link it below, and you guys take care until the next one.